with DJ Dan, and today we have actually got wins and losses from the ground level. If y'all are interested in hearing what really happens on the road, today is the day you want to be on the show. Hey, we got a wow anime. Hey, so you know what? Today is so I'm super excited about today. And DJ, you and I had a quick conversation up there. So I want to introduce everybody to a dear friend of mine, Andrew Galton. Andrew and I go back, gosh, got to be 15 years now.
It's got to be.
I
Yeah.
first met Andrew when he actually had a box truck company doing local P&D, and really started to have real issues. Now, for all of you that aren't in Ontario, it's like the GTA area in Ontario, which is kind of like downtown LA when it comes to, hassles getting in and out and all this. And Andrew was just on point every single time, making sure my customers were the number one focus. And I'm sure all of you know, for all of you, especially in the 3PL world, man, is it tough to find a driver with that kind of focus, right? So
yes.
Andrew went from that to working with me to going out west and starting to do heavy haul, big rig, OD, all this. And some of the conversations we've had has, even after, I mean, we're talking, 27 years, 28 years in the industry now. Some of the conversations are like, oh my God, I never thought of that. Yeah. Just as to what a professional driver goes through. So Andrew's here today to school us all, y'all, on
boots on the ground.
Happens on the road. Boots on the ground. I was going to say the Marines digging the trenches, but yeah, boots on the
That's
ground.
right.
As you can tell, if you look out Andrew's window, he's got one of the most beautiful landscapes going on the planet, and that is not a green screen. He's in the truck, pulled over in the middle of Montana. Are you just north of Butte? Is that where you are right now?
Just north of Helena, just south of Great Falls.
So, I mean, you're in God's country, brother.
Oh, yeah.
And, we appreciate you coming here. We appreciate you being here. And just, start a little bit by just sharing with everybody kind of who you are, what you're doing right now, and then let's get into some of the experiences, because I think it's going to open everyone's eyes, man.
Yeah. So, basically I'm hauling just a dry van now. So anything as far as groceries or, anything that can fit in the dry box. And I pretty much go across North America. Been in the last year and a half over 47 states, every province, Alaska, Yukon, Northwest Territories. So I've seen the countryside and seen all the fun that goes with it. The overdimensional part of it was just a fantastic experience to see the mechanics of how it all gets put together. Just right from the very start to the end, the permits, the escorts, everything. And driving down the highway with, 18 feet wide, and 16 and a half feet tall. And, so it was a great experience. And, I kind of miss doing it, but I'm happy doing what I do now, you get to see the countryside. And that's, I've always been passionate about this industry, and I absolutely love my job. It has
Andrew,
its drawbacks.
One thing that really struck me when we were speaking last week was, and for all you brokers out there, all you logistics people out there that do the heavy haul, the OD, one thing that, and when I told DJ about it before we started, he was like, "Oh my Lord, I never thought." Like, mind blowing is,
yes,
you got a 14.5 high load and a bridge is 14.7, and you're thinking, okay, well, I'm clear. But what if they repaved it and they didn't measure properly? Like something as simple as that.
Document it. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
then you go through, and that stress, that anxiety that comes with.
Oh my gosh!
That is the one thing that I never got used to was the height. Because I've been down in the far end of Texas, down by the Mexican border, and their signs are completely off. I was carrying a crane, and it was 16'4" tall, and the permitted route where I was supposed to go, there was pop-up construction that wasn't supposed to be there.
Oh, geez.
Now I can't get off at the exit that I'm supposed to. I'm staring at a bridge that's the sign itself says 8 inches less than what I need to be. And I got nowhere to go. And I'll tell you the height all the way down there, even if I'm reading the sign where it says there's enough height, I still curl my toes.
I actually saw your entire demeanor change there when you just went into that statement. Like I
Yeah,
saw the
Oh
tension
yeah,
build up in your
yeah,
voice.
it
I felt
is.
it too. I could feel the anxiety, and with what Jeff's saying,
Yeah,
honestly, we can't, Andrew, we can't thank you enough for everything you do.
yeah, no, you know
Seriously,
what I
really.
appreciate is I've never actually been on like a talk show. It's like the trucking industry version of the Johnny Carson show. So it's great to be here, Johnny.
Well, hey,
DJ's the comedian of the bunch here,
I'll
but
be the
There you go.
comedian.
No, I appreciate you guys having me on because a lot of
right.
these topics need to be addressed right across the board. You know,
Well, Andrew, the way we look at it is we say, there's so many people coming out and say, oh, California and all clogging at the ports and da 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 and trucking and it's a capacity issue and everything. And
yeah,
we're starting to see through conversations, through data, that
yeah,
it's a bunch of everything kind of whirled together in this, for lack of a better term, perfect storm, right?
hmm,
Like we had Dean Crook from DAT on the inside inner community of Inception, and he had said, guys, it's not just the ports. Like its dwell times at shippers are twice as long now. Now, whether it be personnel
yeah,
issues, da 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 da, there's issues here, there's issues there, there's backlogs here, and all of it is adding up. Like there was something like, you were saying Warner. If Warner eliminated an extra half hour or something, they can put like 4 or 6% more business on the road. Now, for a
yeah,
company that has
absolutely.
tens of thousands of trucks, that's a huge amount of volume, huge amount of
Yeah,
freight, right? We
Yeah.
looked at, and Andrew, you and I have talked about some of these infrastructure bills where now
yeah,
all of a sudden the market's going to be flooded with, 200,000 extra
extra
truckloads
trucks.
of,
Yeah,
of infrastructure trucks that are needed to create a better infrastructure. I mean, we're so far behind. But
Yeah.
yeah,
give us a bird's eye view, because really everyone watching and listening, I mean, when I first came to Ontario, I got in a truck for a couple of runs. I mean, nothing to write home about. But
yeah,
like, what are you seeing really in the ditches, like the ones driving? And I'm talking just as much as the four wheelers coming in front of you that have no
hmm,
friggin' clue how much it takes for you to stop, to dwell
yeah.
times at docks, to being treated at shippers. Like, give us the straight scoop as to what
I
really happens and how you relay that information to your ops department or to the customers.
I think personally the perception is the biggest key in all of it, and the breakdown. And like you said, even the people on the road, the four wheelers, and that it
For all of you
it,
listening, four wheelers are cars,
Four
not
wheelers
actually
are
like
regular
ATVs coming
cars.
down the
That's yeah.
highway. Four
That's
wheelers in the
not
trucking
the
industry are
not the four
cars.
wheelers like
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah, 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 yeah.
There's such a breakdown and a disconnect amongst the whole supply chain,
Mhm.
and it's hard to pinpoint the where exactly the problems lie, but they are on every aspect of a shipment, right from top down to bottom. As far as like we talked about the wait times and stuff like that. But the people that like on the road, like you got to remember, the average drivers got this shipment on the truck for 3 to 5 days. It's a long, process to get this done.
Mhm.
And I think personally, the trucking has to be brought into more of a public, almost like a public service announcement for
Mhm.
people to fully understand what goes on in the whole process of shipments going from point A to point B. And the breakdowns even as high as the shippers and the receivers. We had nothing but problems, and that comes with communication and information for the drivers. Constantly going into places and never having the proper information. That's one of the key points, I think. The problems that the drivers have. First off is, like protocols when you get to either the ship or the receiver, the hours of operation. What numbers are they using? Because you know as well as I do, they got PO numbers, they got customer numbers, they got sales order numbers, they got every single number, and the driver 9 times out of 10 never has the right one.
Doesn't have the right one. Yeah.
Doesn't have the right one, and it creates that tension right off the bat at that location, because now this
Now, are
guy's
you
upset
talking
because
tension with you or just tension in the process?
between the driver and who we're dealing with, whether it's a shipper or the receiver, we don't have the proper information. There's already this tension, because we don't have the proper information, and they look at us like, well, we're the ones that are at fault. Well, if we're not given the information, how do we know what their protocols are, know what we're needed?
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different breaks along that chain that create a lot of these problems in the whole industry. I'm now 28 years in this, and it's getting worse and worse
Oh, it's actually
as the
getting
days
worse
go on.
than it's getting
Yeah.
better.
Oh yeah,
So,
100%.
so since, and I mean, I don't mean to bring it back to COVID and all this, but what are
Yeah.
some of the, like for you as a professional driver,
Hmm.
if you were to work with an individual or a company, what are some of the things you'd like to know going into a shipper or receiver? And I'm asking the question very strategically because for all you salespeople listening and watching, get the
Dispatchers, anyways,
answers to
right?
these questions, because if you can help bring that to your suppliers, to your
Yeah.
professional drivers that are on the road that are really here to help make you look good, right?
Yeah.
And just think of Andrew's answers here and how you can get ahead of that curve. So even just as simple as to say, hey, Andrew, listen, FYI, when you get in here, this is what to expect. Because I think, Andrew,
Exactly.
again, it's that communication where you can go in saying, okay, I have a feeling this number is going to be wrong. So maybe you preface the conversation with, hey, you know, this number is probably going to be wrong, but
Yeah.
let's try it
Yeah. But
anyways.
here
You
we
know what I
go.
mean? Yeah.
Walking into a place and saying, "Well, I'm picking up a shipment going to Canada, or I'm going down to Utah or wherever," it just doesn't help, right? And this is what we talked about is information, complete information, everything. They try and hold back so much information, and I don't know why. It's because of the third party stuff that goes on. But information, number one, is exactly what we need. But knowing, like I said, the hours of operation, what are the protocols? Where do we go
Yeah.
when we get there? I've wasted so much time. You walk in, or you drive into a big complex of buildings. It's all the same company,
Yeah.
but they have so many divisions.
Yep. And
Where do we
it's
go?
not like you're moving some little car that you could just easily just go
Exactly.
around. Yeah.
We go in there, we don't even know. Like some of these places you drive in, now you're messed because you can't turn around. Some of the places you have to back in. These are all the little details save us time, because the more time we spend at a place, the less money we make. We don't get paid, to sit. So this is why, knowing as much information about where we're going, who to
Yes.
talk to, having updated information, constantly going there and having the wrong names and the wrong people. They're no longer there. They're on a different project.
Mm.
Updated information, updated
Yeah.
phone numbers. Where do we go when we get there? What is the protocol for you? What's happening is the shippers and receivers are getting upset because drivers are pulling right up to the place. Well,
Yeah.
now it clogs everything up.
Yeah.
We don't know the protocol. I'm going to places for the first time all the time,
Yeah. So
and
having some
I
kind of
don't
heads up,
know.
some kind of game plan,
Yeah.
either by the
So,
broker,
yeah,
by your dispatcher, by somebody figuring out.
absolutely.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
just kind of setting that path for you obviously would help your.
That's right. And it speeds things up. It
Yeah.
keeps everybody happy, right? Knowing, do we need an appointment? Does the driver need to call before we get there to, let them know? You know, all of that information is the number one breakdown
Yes,
in this part as far as a driver's concerned. But what most people are forgetting is the drivers are really the key to this whole chain. Because
absolutely.
without the driver, it doesn't go from here to there.
No, you're 100%, and that's and yes, and that's why we all everybody who you see, and I don't know, I think we lost Dan with some technical
Yeah,
difficulty. I think he's putting up some things, but like Michelle, you're right. I mean, our drivers are so important. You guys
yeah,
are what helps these things move, and I think recently there's been a lot of things that have made this job a lot more difficult for you guys. And like you said,
absolutely.
the time that you're wasting is time that you could be making money. So,
Yeah.
and that's our goal of doing this show. Our goal of this is to
Mhm.
try to get this information out
And that's
to.
why I was excited to be on here because these are topics that I deal with on a daily basis. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, who do I bring it to,
And it
right?
feels like it's getting
Something like
unheard, right?
this.
You're
It really is,
yeah.
deaf
Well,
ears,
I can tell you, even though we are trying to do it, you can see a lot of our guys that are watching right now, a lot of our people
Yeah,
following. I mean, we're trying to make this as easy. And listen, you guys are the ones who sacrifice the most. So again, I can't
yeah.
thank you enough. I thank all my drivers as
And I
much as I can.
appreciate that,
You
like
guys are
it
the
means
ones
a
blessing
lot.
the earth out there. So seriously,
Yeah.
thank you.
We
Um,
miss Christmas. We miss
yeah,
anniversaries.
you
We
miss
miss
everything, and
everything. My
but
kids growing up, the schools, and these are the things that I think if people really understood what a driver goes through, it's not just a matter of jump behind the wheel and drive from here to there. We're
yeah,
gone for months at a time. It's hard on relationships, it's hard on everything.
yeah,
And the best thing I ever saw, and I believe it was, I might be wrong on the name, but I think it was J.S. Crawford out in Ontario.
okay.
They have a little picture on the back of a trailer. And the first time I ever saw it, and it's of a woman holding her brand new baby. And the caption underneath says, one of the only things not delivered by a truck driver. And that puts things
Wow.
into
Yes.
perspective. I think
Yeah.
as one of the best things I ever saw on the side of a truck, to give perspective of, the importance of trucks on the road.
Yes.
Because we saw during the pandemic, without trucks on the road, shelves are empty.
We have nothing.
People
Yep.
can't eat, you
Oh, yeah.
know? And
Oh
it
yeah.
got so bad at the beginning that truck drivers weren't even allowed to get food. That's how bad it got because all the big
Mm,
stores are closed. We're relying on truck stop stuff. They have little restaurants within, but then they
mm,
went to drive through.
yeah.
They were
Yeah.
not allowing
You
us.
guys couldn't take showers. You guys couldn't do a lot of things.
Yeah,
I mean,
we
it was.
couldn't do so much. I mean,
Yeah,
even still, there's smaller places that don't
there
have enough
is.
staff, and they don't even allow you to use the washroom. And it's like
That's crazy.
the perspective of a truck driver right now is a very sad state. It's almost like we're second class
Well,
citizens. I
well,
swear that's
have
how it
faith.
feels.
Have hope. We are here.
Oh,
The reason we're doing this show, we're trying to really get this
yeah,
out. Get the dispatchers, the carriers, the shippers, the anybody who's listening
yeah.
to us right now, to really.
Communication all the way down the line is the key of everything. You know.
Well, I think even more
It
than that,
really
we
is.
have to remember we're all, even though we might not work for the same company, we might not
Yeah.
all be getting the same money. We're all a team.
Look,
We
and that's what's missing right there. What you just said, the camaraderie amongst the industry is so disconnected right now.
yeah.
I think back of the day, if you guys have ever seen the movie Convoy with Chris Christopherson, what a great movie. But what that
Yeah. Actually, that's a
portrays,
really good movie.
it's a great
Really
movie.
good movie.
But what that portrays is it doesn't matter you're black, white, green, or red. It doesn't matter if you're hauling lumber, groceries, dry van, reefer, heavy haul. We were all truck drivers, and every truck driver stood up for each other. And that's what's missing today. Even on the CB now, you can have a CB, you won't hear not two words on the radio half the time because it's so disconnected. And that's the
It
sad
is.
part about it is trickling down.
Go for it. Finish. Sorry, Andrew. Go for it.
Yeah, no, I mean, trickling down the line right now, it's creating this whole disconnect amongst even truck drivers now. Like, I mean, reefer drivers won't talk to dry van drivers, and step deck drivers don't talk to heavy haul because it's, a different job. Well, no, it's not. We're all in the transportation industry. We're all professional drivers, no matter what your haul.
Well, I got to stop you there. Not all.
Well,
not all professionals.
Not all, yes. No.
Yes,
yeah. You got what I'm saying.
You know where I'm going with that, brother.
Yes, I do. I see it day in and day out.
Jeff says it best, though. Collaboration is key to success for all involved. That's
100%.
the only way to win anything. That's the only.
And it's in any industry, though, too. Yeah. It's not just the trucking industry, but for some reason that communication's lost.
I apologize because I got surgery yesterday, so I got a call from my doctor, so I had to jump off, and now I'm back on.
Yeah.
But we're going through all of these comments, and Michelle said something. She says, you're right. Like, our drivers are so important, Michelle. You're absolutely right. Sales teams can cut down on these frustrations by making sure their bill of ladings, their carrier confirmations, and everything have all the information. And then there's another level to that, Michelle, where even making sure the dispatch in the transportation company sends the information through, because we've seen that disconnect, Andrew, where you speak to the customer, and the customer's like, well, I've given all that information to your dispatch. You're like, well, why didn't dispatch send it to me? Right? Because there's breakdowns on every level. Well, and in the end, Andrew, who suffers? You.
Me.
The driver. The driver.
Absolutely.
So if we all do this right now, right, and we all do a 360, everything you see is touch the truck. So without it, we don't eat. Without it, we don't have cool things. Without it, we don't have Amazon. Without it, we don't have anything.
Without it, we could have no water. In a couple of days, we could have no water without it.
2 weeks.
So I'm gonna share.
I'm
gonna share with you, and this disconnect in information affected me 2 days ago. I brought a shipment from just outside of Toledo, Ohio, all the way to Delta, British Columbia, Vancouver. I left on Friday. I delivered, it was Tuesday. I had to do my reset in between. In that whole time, I drove all the way to Vancouver, and I got to my delivery. I was on a 38-hour drive. I was an hour and a half behind schedule, but I mean, it's traffic, it's whatever. I'm within my time frame. Go inside with my paperwork, and he goes, oh yeah, this load got canceled. I'm like, excuse me? He said, yeah, it canceled. The person warehousing is warehousing for a third party. They rent space there. They overshipped too much stuff. They've run out of space now to store stuff. They knew this 2 days ago. I did 2 more days and still didn't get the information that this load was canceled, and it messed up my whole day. So at 2:00 in the afternoon, I'm down for the day until the next day. I lose a whole day worth of driving.
And you're still getting paid per mile, right? You're not a salary driver.
Per mile,
mile driver? Yeah,
exactly.
So they in essence, took
$500
your livelihood away, took it out of your pocket, and it's not we're really sorry. It's okay, have a good day, man. Okay, go. I got the next person in line. I got the next person in line. And where does that come from now? Like, and this is, I think, is a big thing for all of us to understand is, where does this come from now? Like, even when the new hours of service kicked in mid 90s, I think, or whatever it was, or early 2000s, they were saying like Walmart needed 10,000 new drivers just to complete their supply chain. And I've always, listen, safety, I get it. I understand, everybody has their argument about it. I don't want to get into that. But if somebody were to say to me, okay, so, you can only work X amount of time right now.
Yep.
And that's it. You're not allowed to work anymore. And I'm like, okay, but hold on, based on the hours I did work and based on the miles I did run to this, you're pulling like $800 a week out of my pocket. Like, absolutely. How many people are we going to lose in the industry that is the lifeline of our entire economics. Like
Well, this is
everything
one of
hits
the
the leverage.
reasons we're in this position
Yeah,
right now, is
exactly. I was
because
going to say that same
all
thing.
of the
That's why we're
veteran
here.
drivers are packing it in now.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
saying, I can't even make money anymore. So
Mhm.
this is why we're so short of drivers. But the sad part of that is the new generation of drivers that are coming on is a little bit scary, you know. But we're so far gone now because of all of that. Nobody can make any money anymore. The drivers, anyways.
yeah.
We're
Well, I
doing
mean, I know
70
there's a
hours a
lot of
week.
companies doing a switch to salary drivers and so on and so forth because
Yeah.
they do. I mean, I know companies where drivers are making really good money
Hmm.
because they went salary,
Yeah.
but I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I know I jumped off for a few minutes and y'all might have addressed it. I apologize if I'm regurgitating here, but I think like like just the entire nucleus of the system needs to change. And
Hmm.
in my opinion, it really starts with salespeople
Hmm.
and having the conversations with shippers. And I know, Andrew, you and I spoke about it. What if every shipper was 30 minutes, 40 minutes faster?
Hmm.
What would that do? Like if you got there knowing, okay, because the sales rep is saying, and listen, some companies don't want up or brokers to call their drivers because of the harassment and where are you, because they really
Yeah.
don't understand.
Yeah.
But to me, I look at it and I say, if I'm able to call you,
Hmm.
hey Andrew, how far out are you, brother? Oh, I'm like 30 minutes out. Okay. Or hey, ask your driver to give me a call or let you know, and you give me a call 30 minutes out. I'm going to call my shipper and make sure, okay, I've got a driver coming in. His name is Andrew Galton. He's coming in with XYZ company, and here is the PO number I've given him. Is this right?
Yep.
And
Yeah.
yes, it is. Okay, is the shipment ready? Yes, it is. And then relay back to you. Okay, go in. I spoke to Michelle 10 minutes ago, and or 30 minutes ago, she says the PO number is right. Hey, Michelle, it's Andrew. Oh, hey, yeah, we were expecting you. Here, go, and you're in and out. Like to
Yeah.
me, that is doable. It's very doable in our
Oh,
industry. I believe it's
it
doable. I
used to
just
be
think
the
it's
way it
the
was.
effort. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's the effort. I think we lack
Yeah.
effort.
Yeah.
I truly believe that customer service has gone downhill. I think we as individuals probably see it in most aspects. I mean, I was at the hospital
Yeah.
yesterday. I'll tell you right now, hey, thank you very much to all healthcare workers. But oh my Lord, I was blown away at how horrible it was. And I'm not even in emergency. Like I'm going in for day
Yeah.
surgery.
Yeah.
And my wife and I were flabbergasted just to say, like, oh my Lord, like just I understand it's stressful, but put a smile on your face or go get another career. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I know people are probably gonna say, Dan, it's not as easy as that. You're standing on the outside. But you know what? Here's the thing. I loved logistics. Then I friggin' hated logistics
Yeah.
because I couldn't change my perspective to look at things from a different angle. Right?
I got
Like it's
another
just
another point in that, as far as getting the relaying that information, I really do think we need to go back a little bit of old school, because what's missing now is that personal touch, the
oh yeah.
personal thing. Pick
Yes.
up the phone.
Yes.
Everybody wants to send an email and then they forget about it, right?
Yep.
And that's where the communication is broken down, because they send an email, I did my job, leave it on to the next guy, right? What happened to
Yep.
picking up the phone and saying, oh, you know what, driver's here, you know what, make sure we have everything we need, what do we need to do? But no, there's none of that anymore. It's like everything else. You got to do everything online. You got to go through the robots, and you got to press 25 different buttons just to
That,
get
that's
and you
because
can never speak to anybody live,
that's
right?
because that's because we want to do less and we want to make more. That's all
Make
everybody's
more
worried
and
about.
do less.
We
And
want to do
that's the
less and make more.
generation that we live in right
Yeah,
now. Yeah.
that's what's killing it. That's what's
Yeah.
killing it for sure.
And that's
There
what
are so
this
many
new
good
generation
comments.
is.
Jeff made a great comment as well about get your customers involved and educate them about carrier operations. They have just as many needs as they do. Yes, and if we can all, and that's where our job as brokers, our job as
Yeah.
dispatchers is to we are supposed to build that bridge so that the shipper or the customer understands what the carrier, our other
Hmm.
partner, needs to do, and we're all on the
Yeah.
same page. And that's
And the key word in that was educate. Great
yes,
word. People
Yeah.
need to be educated in all of these. aspects to
Mhm.
get this
And
back to where it
Michelle's
should be.
right. She says, not always sitting in front of the computer, call instead. And I do, Michelle, I
Yes.
think we're missing that, right? Because, I mean, listen, don't get me wrong. I think a lot of the times people can get or feel like a lot more is accomplished by, okay, sending an email, opening up another one, sending another email, opening up another one. You could probably send three emails out by the time you go through all the prompts
The
and get
one,
one person on the phone. I get
exactly.
that. I get that.
Yeah, no,
Andrew, you
100%.
brought up a great point to counter that is now, like originally when it was, you know, like you call Rogers or any of the communication networks or any of your utilities, and it's like
Anybody.
push one for this, and it's like you have to sit there in what feels like 45 minutes, but it's really like 15
Yeah,
seconds, where they name out all the different like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you're getting frustrated because it's like, okay, I got to get to somebody, and I just kind of keep hitting zero, hoping to get to somebody,
zero.
and then they say, okay, go online and do a chat. I like going online personally
Hmm.
when it's a live person, not a
Sure.
400 button bot. I go
Yeah.
online and I get things done as opposed to a call. But
Yeah.
there's actually companies out there now, that I work with, like in from a technical end. They don't even have a support. Like you have to send an email and wait 4 hours to get information back. And to me, it's just that is not what we as consumers want, right?
No.
Like so
Or
for
what
all
we
you
need.
reps out there listening, well, exactly. So for all you reps out there listening, think of how much friction is involved in your day because of a lack of information processing on any end. You might be anal with information and you've given it to the ops team that doesn't give it to the driver. Like I would say, and Andrew, correct me if I'm wrong, but try everything to make sure the driver, because you're the front line, brother. You're the one
Absolutely.
when you come in and you say, here's my PO number, and they say, no, it's not it. And you might be having a bad day because you're entitled to a bad day as well. It's not just the people on
Yeah.
the shipping dock that are entitled to be pissed off all the time. You're
Yeah.
trying to come across as a professional. You're trying to come, but now you're getting frustrated because
Yeah.
now every minute delay is minute out of your pocket. Nobody's going to hand you a $10 bill and say, hey, we're
No.
15 minutes behind. Here's $10 just to go get
No,
coffee.
Yeah.
Not a
no.
chance. They're going to say, no, you're not allowed to use the bathroom. Go back in your truck. When that light turns green, then you can come out and talk to us. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
when did I become, that
Not
tier
human
of
almost, like
Yeah.
pretty much?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
second class
Well,
citizen, third
I'll tell
class
you, so
citizen.
I do mostly drive van, Andrew, and
Yeah.
food especially, and so I know those receivers and
Yep.
shippers, man, they are making it so difficult for you guys.
Oh,
Sometimes it's
100%.
insane. I've seen some of the pictures my drivers have shared. Don't ask to eat. Don't ask for this. Don't ask to go to the bathroom. Don't ask. Don't ask. I'm like, wow, like
Yeah.
that is
When did
sad.
it
But
become like we're sitting there for 3, 4 hours waiting to maybe to get a door, a couple hours to load? When did like the driver not need to use the washroom once in a while? Like I've had places where they put an actual outhouse at the end of their friggin' property
Hmm,
and expected to go through the mud and all that stuff to get there. Like I mean,
jeez.
So,
sometimes you
Andrew,
just
I got
gotta
a
sit
question
there.
for you. When
Yeah.
you hit these places and when you
Hmm.
experience these challenges, do you bring that information back to your team to say, hey, guys,
I
just an FYI, like this company, this is how I get treated. This is what happens. And because I think also there's a break at that point as well. Like
Yes, yeah,
some
yeah, yeah.
drivers will just get pissed
That
off.
feedback
And
would be
then
great.
dispatch is going to go,
hmm
oh, well, Andrew's pissed off again.
Yeah.
Right?
So
So
you
it's
got
like,
you got to tread lightly. You got to tread
Yeah, of
lightly.
course. Yeah,
But
you don't want to sound like a bitching about everything. I
one
get
one
that.
of the big things that is lost that people don't think about as well is you have to remember that across the country there's 4 hours difference. So when I get to a place, it might be 9 o'clock in the morning. Over there, it's 1 o'clock, or 12 o'clock, whatever. So that information breakdown, when we get there in the afternoon, I'm on the West Coast. I've had this happen before. I get there at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I run into a problem. I can't get a hold of somebody because it's the East Coast.
mm,
So that's where a lot of that comes in as well, like that sort of breakdown. But when you've got multiple people involved, it takes so much time to get that information. So if I say something to my dispatcher, there's four more people down the line. And at that point, do they really care or is anything going to get done about that? It's always left on the driver to deal with. I think you were off the thing there, Dan, when we were talking about this. Like, the key thing is, I go into a place, and the one company has about 10 different buildings. you know Knowing where to go right off the bat is really key, because I've wasted 45 minutes just trying to find the right person sometimes. you know there's so much that needs to be done to bring this back to the personal care that used to be involved in customer relations.
So
And
Andrew, I want I,
yes.
I want to stop you there, and only for one real big reason. I know we've talked a lot about the issues.
Yeah.
Share with us, as somebody on the front line, what are some of the solutions that we as sales reps, that we as professional operations teams, that we as professional like value service managers, coaches, what can we do to help your day get eased up? Are there specific questions? Can we bring you specific answers? Like, share with us from your level, because I mean, again, we've talked a lot about the issues. We are very big on what are the solutions and how can we be part of the solution instead of part of the problem.
Well, and like I said before, the key
Yeah.
solution is more information about everything, not even just about picking up the shipment, but as far as like the information about each of the places, hours of operations. Does a driver need to call ahead of time, or do we need to tell the dispatch to call and tell them we're there, or do we need an appointment time or appointment window? There's so much in the information part of it. That would be the number one solution in bringing this back to a more enjoyable state.
And I'll tell you, Jeff. So Jeff, not to interrupt too much, but Jeff shared this with me, and he said I could kind of get it out there for you guys. But this is what he shares with all of his carriers. So he has it filled out for the locations. It's all the contact name of the what type of facility it is: distribution center, plant, warehouse, third party, shipping hours, receiving hours, how much advance notice, how is a pickup arranged. I mean, every question that you could probably think of,
And
and then
that's what
again,
you need.
if we just give
That's what
that,
the driver
the
needs.
driver needs that, yeah,
That information.
and this is what
That's
he's given to his carriers.
Yeah.
It's
And
all
and
filled out
that's
with.
that's exactly what is needed. I get an address, I get a pickup number, and the pickup number 9 times out of 10 is wrong. So that is number one solution. Is information about everything. And
I
how
would even go
the
so far as to say, if
protocols.
you're an asset-based carrier watching and listening, don't accept a load until you have that information. If
Yes,
you're a driver
Exactly.
now,
yes.
and here's where I might get in a little bit of trouble, but if you're a driver and you feel you don't have the information, don't go and pick up the load until you have the information. Ask for the broker's phone number, ask for something, and let's all just start communicating. Because, I mean, so here's the thing, and
Hmm.
also you brokers out there that harass drivers, wake the hell up. Because
Hmm.
if your pickup time is this, you make one phone call if the driver's on schedule. And I know, listen, everybody's gonna say, Dan, I've been screwed over before. I've been, you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, because we've all had issues. Like I've had, I mean,
There's
I
always
can't
going to
tell
be
you how
issues,
many
but
times. And Andrew,
Always.
you and I have
we
experienced
can't
this
hold on
together.
to that and
Yeah.
cause it to just cause issues with everybody else down the line because we had issues with somebody else. So you have
Yeah.
issues with somebody else or a bad driver, don't deal with that driver anymore. Don't
Yeah,
hold it on the other drivers. They didn't do anything.
No.
yeah.
And
I think
and
that's Ryan because
that's
he said boom. Yeah,
that
yeah.
that's the thing is, I mean, unfortunately, again, it comes back to the new generation of drivers. It's kind of given the good drivers kind of a bad name as well. But
But
it's all
Andrew,
taken
it
out
happens
on
like that everywhere. Like you look
everywhere.
at the good salespeople, the
Yeah.
brokers that go and just like
Hmm.
DJ Jeff and I had a conversation before we got on, and we talked about it. So like the brokers that go and just chew through customers and just for the commissions, just for the money, and leave them stranded at the drop of a dime. I mean, this is why brokers get business, because one person decides at the 11th hour, hey, I never really had a truck. I mean, I told you I had a truck there, but
Hmm.
I didn't because I just went to the load board. Leave you hanging. Now, I mean,
Mm.
so we all, unfortunately, we're our own worst enemies in the trucking industry. So companies that hire drivers that are inexperienced just because they need to put a body in a seat, bang,
Yeah.
boom. Okay.
But we can fix it.
Salespeople that go out and sell as a commission instead of trying to figure out how to add real value and how to make this a career, boom, you just screwed it up for everyone else that calls that customer. When you don't know what you're doing, or when you don't have the specific structure and business foundation in place as a salesperson, you're making all these promises. And don't get me wrong, I did it. I'm talking to you from experience, because I remember my ops person coming in like 4 or 5 years into my career, and she stopped. She goes, okay, whoa, like, why do you make all these promises? You can't deliver. And I go, but you can. She goes, no, I can't. And I'm like, well, and my response, as horrible as it was, I mean, I was a 21-year-old kid. I was like, well, that's what I pay you for. Make it happen. And and I mean, today it disgusts me that I even said that, but that's the mentality. And it's like, it's this, you know, like, and so as we come up, this is kind of how everybody's trained behind us until we decide to make a change, until we decide to be better, be more, do more, and achieve more, and help people do more. Nothing's going to change. Nothing in this industry is going to change. We're going to have the same friggin' conversation 2 years from now.
When we quit worrying about what helps us and what will help other people, that will help us. That's all that it comes to.
And you brought up the really good points, because I was thinking of this the other day as well, right? And it's the people that are, you know, going to make 2 phone calls and, you know, decide they're going to just, you know, like, screw the customer, lie to the customer, or whatever, just to get that money, right? And it's so wrong in so many ways. And I always said, Dan, not just because we're friends in that, but I've always considered you the number one salesman in this industry, bar none. And it's because of the qualities you have that a lot of them out there don't. I'm not going to say all of them. I'm going to say a lot of them out there don't. And as what you touched on is honesty, number one, respect, number two, and integrity. Those 3 things that you have, you would rather educate the customer and show them how to be more efficient and save money. In a sense, you make a little bit less yourself, but you're educating you've gained the trust of that customer, right? Also, what you've done there is left enough money on the table for the driver, and that where the respect of everything, the whole circle comes together. Right? And if we had more salespeople like that aren't just looking for that extra $10 in their pocket, and remember the driver that's got the stuff on his truck for 5 days to get it there, the guy that makes the 2 phone calls and is making more money than the person actually selling the product. You know,
I've had accounts, multi-million-dollar accounts, where other people have come in and the margins are decreasing, where I've actually gone to my supplier and said, listen, like, this is a big account for you. I can't make any money. Here's the contact. Get on a conference call. I'm going to connect you with the customer. And I've connected the carrier direct with the customer.
And that's the integrity that I'm talking about. You would rather, you know, educate and pass it on. You know, I'm not making the money. Where's the effort going to be? So you know what? Here you go. Let's not try and screw the customer down the line or the driver at the end of the line. You know, let's just, you know, you guys make money then. You know, whatever. And that's where it's all broken down now. Is there's so many out there just trying to undercut, cutthroat. That's the biggest part of this.
And that, unfortunately, now, Andrew, that's never gonna change. Never gonna change. I guarantee it'll never change, because it's uneducated salespeople that think, okay, if somebody wants to buy, if I'm trying to sell this for $10 and somebody wants to buy it right now for $8, I could put $2 on the board instead of $4 on the board. I'm going to do it. And they think that's selling. Not even friggin' close. Like, that is not selling. That's bending over.
You're a clerk.
For lack of a better term. And I apologize for saying that live on air, but that's literally what it is.
We call that in the retail industry and in the in-home sales industry, you're a clerk. If you're just dropping price or negotiating to just sell and transfer, and you're not building any value, you're not doing anything more there, you're just a clerk. That's not sales. But put up that boom, 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 because that Andrew said it, and he is so right. The 3 things missing in today for everything is honesty, respect, and integrity. Those are the three things,
Absolutely.
not just in this industry, in the freaking world right
Yeah,
now.
everywhere.
Honesty, respect, integrity. Those three things. If we could just do that, and that's why whoever said that, thank you. You're right. Yes. Boom, boom, and boom. That is right.
Yeah, I think that was Jeffrey because he says we just spoke about this, Dan and DJ. So
Yeah.
for some reason, Jeffrey's name's gone. But okay, I apologize, guys, but I can't believe I'm going to say this on here either. I got a hard stop at 12:30. Listen, Andrew, we are going to have to bring you back because I
Yes.
think
Yes. Please.
this
Please.
conversation
I'm
needs
available
to
all the
continue.
time.
Are you?
Absolutely.
Because
Yes.
yeah, man. You know what? We are going to have to bring you back because I think
Yeah.
baseline. You're the man, brother. I love you.
Yes.
You've been
Appreciate it. I love you
a
too, man.
true friend and just
Thank you for
a real
everything.
go-to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
thanks, brother. I appreciate everything you do, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And it's not
Thank
just
you.
this typical, hey, when things are happening, thank you, truck drivers, and everybody forgets about it. Like, thank you.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it.
Yes.
Keep bringing that knowledge to
Yeah.
everyone you touch, every single person, every interaction you have, Andrew. Bring that knowledge because it is so needed in our industry, so needed. And I want to thank you.
I try and do it. I try and get that old school mentality back.
Reach out to me, Dan, or Jeff. I'll get this to you so you can get this to your team so they can get this information for you so you don't have these headaches anymore, hopefully. Or at least we can eliminate some of them.
I'm gonna end it with a quote today because based on this conversation, I think this quote rings true. What you do screams so loud, I can't hear a word you say. So if you say you want to have the best career, and you say you care about drivers, and you say you care about service and value, but you do nothing over and above what anyone else is, what you do screams so loud, I can't hear a word you say. Thank you, Emerson, for that quote. Take care, everybody.
Bye. Pleasure, guys. Next time.
Great talking to you, Andrew. Thank you.
I'm trying to get my hand up to the end button. Sorry, it's taking